Hi, so the last video didn't have any sound on it, so I gotta do this again. Darn it! Anyway, so I want to give you a tutorial about the Rubric database. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up my Rubric database, okay? And you can see I have another database open at the same time, but okay, so it's opening and it's not exactly fast. So, okay, so now it's open. So the thing that I want to tell you is that every single time that you download the Rubric database from D2L, or every time that you open the database from a new location on your computer, so say it's on the C drive under users and SAM, and you move it to on the D drive under friends or something like that. Every time that you move it around, you will get this error again. So I just want to make sure that you're clear on that. This is an error that's built into Microsoft's products to protect against malicious macros running on your computer and giving you viruses. So that's why. But anyway, okay, so you can click on Stop All Macros here, and then you click here, and then you enable content. Now, as long as you keep your database in the same place every single time, then you won't have to go through that. But I will tell you that every time that you download it from D2L, whether it's from the Dropbox or some other location, you will have that error come up. So I just wanted to warn you in advance. Okay, so it automatically, once you've cleared that hurdle of having that stop macro error come up, then it will come up with a tutorial. Okay, and you can turn off the tutorial by just clicking here so that the next time that you open the Rubric database, this tutorial won't open anymore. Okay, and then you want to go in here and click and put in your student information. I've already got some put in here, but I did want to make you aware of that. And it is really important that you put in a phone number where I can call you, especially at the end of the semester. If there's any problems with your database being corrupt or any problems, I'll need to be able to call you or get a hold of you. And if I can't get a hold of you, it could mean a lower grade for you. And I have had that happen with students. So a phone number is really, really important. And the other thing that I encourage you to do is put in some sort of description. Now, of course, I put in this little, little silly description, but I really encourage you to put a small description about your database project in here, just so that it helps me to know more about what your goal is. So anyway, so okay, I'll click on OK. And then from there, you can go through the tutorial and read through it. I'm not going to do that. You can read about the final project and what that's about. Okay. And once you're done reading through this, you can certainly exit the tutorial anytime. Okay, and then this is your main menu. Okay, and if you want to go back to the tutorial, you can click here. If you want to see the final project description again, you can click here. Here you can get a list of all the rubric points, okay, which is helpful, and then you can print it out. Or I'll give you an example. You can just come here and you can click on anything like table relationships, and you can click on preview, and then it will bring up the report for that, and you can print it, you can put it into PDF format, and it has the category, it has when it's due. So some of them are due only on the final version, some of them are due for the draft version, and some of them and the final version. So and then here's the description and how much it's worth. Okay, and like I said, you can print it. So I'll go ahead and click on close. Okay, this grade report here is for the end of the semester. After I have given you a grade, you can click on this and pull up your grade and see what kind of grade you got. And then once again, you can, here's the button for student information. You can put your information in. Okay. So right here are the buttons where you evaluate how you've met your rubric points, each rubric point, and they're categorized, table structure, table relationships, forms, etc. So for the table version, when you're going to hand in your first version of your final project, you would fill out the rubric points for the table structure and the table relationships. For the forms version, you just need to fill out the forms version. For the reports version, you'll only need to fill out the rubric points for the report version. Then for the final version, you'll need to fill out them again for all of these, and then you'll need to fill it out for this one and this one as well. But for all of these, you'll put in what's known as a final record, and I'll show you more about that in a moment. One of the things that I will tell you is that I will give you overall feedback, and that could be in the draft version, like your tables or forms or reports, and I could also give you overall feedback for your final project as well. So you can just go in here and look to see what I've, if I've said anything, and you can see that I can categorize them for overall feedback, and you can go, to next record or previous record. Okay, and then you just click on close when you're done looking at them. Okay, so to enter to evaluate yourself to see if you've met the requirements for each rubric point, what you want to do is you want to go to, like, for example, table structure, and I'll explain this in a moment, that message. But what you want to do is you want to respond to each one of the rubric points. And so here's one rubric point, okay? Excuse me. And then down here, you're going to just give yourself a rating as to how well you feel like you've met that particular rubric point. And then you just type in your information, okay? And, any information you want to give about that rubric point. And then after that, you go to the next one and you read that one, and then you let's see, and then you put in your rating, and then you also put any comments that you want to have, and that's all you do for every single one of these, okay? And then for the first version, the table version, you're just going to always have draft. at the end of the semester, you'll have a final record, but you don't need to worry about that now. And then that's all you have to worry about doing, is just responding to each one of these rubric points. And you put in your rating, and if you want to write any notes, that's it. And then when you're done, you can go to table relationships and you can do the same. Okay, now I wanted to make sure that you understand what this is saying. This right here is giving an example of a rubric point which says 5 different data types are used. Okay, that's one of the rubric points. And what I'm saying here is that I want you to give me complete details in the comments area about where I can find that particular or where you've met that particular requirement. So if you, for 5 different data types, I want to know what the table is and what the field is that has, and the data type as to what they have and to meet that requirement. So I want a list of 5 that have the table, the field, and the data types. So anyway, and let's see, the other thing that I want to tell you is notice that it says when due. So for some of these rubric points, you won't even need to put any information in because it's only due at the final version. Like for example, this particular rubric point, you don't need to fill out any information down here because it says it's only due for the final version. When you get to the end of the semester, then you will fill this out. And that's the only time. Okay? Hopefully this is clear. So when you are done filling out all the rubric points and you're ready to hand in your version of your database, you hand in your database into the Dropbox, plus you hand in the rubric database that you've completed. And then I will pull it up and I will go through each rubric point and I will rate you and give you feedback as to what I think about how you've met a certain rubric point. So and then I might give you some feedback as well. So so what I'm saying to you is that you will hand in your database, your final project, into the Dropbox. You'll hand in the rubric database, and then I will pick up the rubric database. I'll open up the rubric database and your final project. I will make comments. I will put them back as feedback in the Dropbox, and then you can open it up and see what kind of feedback I've given you. Okay? So, and then you can start using that particular database that I've put in the Dropbox in the tables draft version. You can continue to put data in it for the forms version, reports version, the final version, and consistently put it in the Dropbox each time you're ready to hand it in again. Okay, so hopefully that is clear. I can't think of anything else to tell you except, there is one thing I did want to tell you. Obviously I'm watching something, but under content here, okay, down here under, I put a module here called Rubric Database, and so you should be able to pick up a copy of the Rubric Database. I'll also put a link to this video in here, as well as I'll put the same link in here under videos. so that you'll have a link to both. I mean, you'll have a link in either place, so hopefully it'll be easier to find. I think that's it. Thanks. Bye.